I'm Rob from Eterra Attachments, and I'm here to introduce you to the PDX-1000. This is our latest iteration in breaker-style post drivers for both skid steers and excavators. Eterra created the first breaker-style post driver in 2007 with the introduction of the PD550, and thus created a whole new category of attachment for skid steer loaders. And we've been innovating and improving ever since. The PDX-1000 is a product of over a decade of experience building breaker-style post drivers, and I'll just show you the features and benefits. The key component of this post driver is the nitrogen charged power cell. It's in a fully enclosed housing, which makes it much safer to operate and easier to maintain than any conventional post driver. The Eterra post drivers have always been enclosed since their inception. This is because we knew early on that it's crucial to the longevity of the attachment and the machine, as well as being much more comfortable for the operator. Quality concrete breakers are built this way using an isolated cell, so there's no reason to skimp when it comes to post drivers. So let's get into the specifics of an isolated breaker. The breaker cell is inside this housing, and on each end you've got urethane caps. So the breaker is actually floating inside this housing. What happens is when the energy is exerted into the post, the energy does not come in contact with any of the steel on the mounting plate here. So it doesn't get transferred back into the pins, back into the machine, as well as it produces much less noise to make it more comfortable for the operator. However, competition has come along, and in their effort to cheapen it, they take a cell, slab it between two pieces of steel, and put it on a skid steer plate. That takes us right back to the Stone Age, where we're transferring all of that energy back into the machine, into the pivot points, and making it much more comfortable for the operator. We realized early on, back in 2007, that that wasn't the way to go. We always want to have a comfortable operator because he's going to be running this for many hours. So we don't want to have somebody who really doesn't want to come to work every day because they've got so much noise and so much rattling that they just hate their device. We've always stuck to this type of design, and we always will. Eterra has made this as easy as possible to use this attachment on multiple machines, including skid steers and excavators, without losing any of the functions. For instance, the version that you see here right now is set up for a skid steer, but by easily unbolting these bolts on the back, I can move this over and put an excavator coupler on it in a matter of moments. We realized early on that you weren't going to be able to drive posts through all conditions, so we came up with a breaker tool that's 5 feet long. You simply drop the head off, put the breaker tool in, and you're able to pre-drive all of your holes. So if you've got really rocky ground or shale, you can drive right through that, have your pre-drills already done, and then drop your posts in and they'll go in with ease. All of the tools for our breaker-style post drivers are built exactly the same way that concrete breakers are. We use a high-grade steel and a special hardening process to give you the finest quality tools available anywhere. The PDX-1000 comes standard with our revolutionary post guide system. It comes with a 2, a 4, a 6, and an 8-inch guide. They simply bolt on the bottom of our base. Additionally, if you want to drive something larger, you can take the inserts fully out. The housing opening down here is 9.5 by 9.5, which allows you to drive most railway ties. If you still have something bigger that you want to drive, you can easily drop the entire housing off. If you have tapered posts, we do offer an optional domed head that you can simply drop the flat one off and put the dome tool up inside this, and you can be changed over within about 5 minutes. Okay, let's talk about the tilting feature. We innovated this back in 2015, and we made it in such a way that it can be put on any of our post drivers. By utilizing this universal bolt pattern, you can add this at a future date as an option, or you can add this to one of our past post drivers. We use only the finest materials in this, as well as using Rexroth valves, which we've used for over 20 years. It tilts 15 degrees to the left and 15 degrees to the right. And people who work on uneven terrain are going to really appreciate this because it enables them to get in all conditions with their machine. And skid steers are great for that, for getting up in all kinds of funky terrain, and they're able to drive their posts as plumb as possible in all conditions. The only things you're going to need to do to maintain this are to check the bolts on a regular basis, keep the nitrogen cell charged about once a year, and make sure you thoroughly grease the tool. Now that we've covered the features and benefits of the PDX-1000, let's take it out in the field and show you what it can do so you can see it for yourself.